All right, today we are diving deep inside your own body, down to the cellular level, to tour a microscopic factory. This place is incredible. It can take the carbs from a slice of pizza and turn them into energy that gets stored for later. Yep, we're talking about how your body literally builds fat from scratch.
I mean, you've probably wondered about this, right? You eat a potato or some pasta, classic carbohydrates, and somehow that energy can end up stored on your body as fat. So how on earth does that actually happen? What's the play-by-play?
Well, it's not some kind of magic trick. It's pure, elegant biochemistry. And the best way to really get it is to imagine this bustling, microscopic factory running with mind-boggling precision inside your cells. So, come on, let's grab a hard hat and take a tour. First things first, why does this factory even exist? Why go to all the trouble? The answer is simple. Your body is the ultimate master of energy efficiency. It hates to waste a single drop of fuel. So, when you've got more energy than you need for the here and now, your body doesn't just throw it away. Nope, it stores it. And fat is, by far, the most compact, energy-dense way to save that power for a rainy day. So, when did the factory doors swing open for business? Well, it happens when your cells are basically full. They've got all the energy they need for their immediate jobs. And then you take in even more fuel, like from a big meal of carbs or protein. The main hubs for this operation? Your liver cells and your fat cells. They're the primary locations for a process called de novo lipogenesis, which is just a fancy way of saying making new fat.
Now, every good factory needs its raw materials, right? For our fat factory, the one key ingredient, the absolute cornerstone, is a tiny molecule called Acetyl-CoA. But getting this material from the loading dock to the factory floor, well, that presents a pretty big logistical problem for the cell.
Okay, so this little guy, Acetyl-CoA, is the universal two-carbon Lego brick for building fat. It's what's left over after your body breaks down glucose from carbs or even amino acids from protein. And this all happens inside the cell's power plant, the famous mitochondrion. Think of it as the refinery where the raw materials get processed.
Okay, but here's the catch, and it's a big one. The acetyl-CoA is made inside the mitochondrion, but the entire fat-building assembly line is outside of it, in the main body of the cell called the cytosol. And that mitochondrial membrane is like a high-security wall. Acetyl-CoA doesn't have the security clearance to just pass through. So, what does the cell do?
The cell, being incredibly clever, has this elegant workaround called the Citrate Shuttle. It's genius. Inside the mitochondrion, the trapped acetyl-CoA is given a disguise. It gets combined with another molecule to form something new, citrate. Now this citrate molecule, it has an all-access pass. It waltzes right across the membrane. And once it's safely in the cytosol, a special enzyme comes along and removes the disguise, releasing our acetyl-CoA right where the factory needs it. Problem solved.
And get this is where the cell's design is just brilliant. This whole shuttle process isn't just a delivery service. It has a fantastic bonus feature. As it's happening, it also generates another vital molecule, NADPH. You can think of NADPH as the fully charged battery packs that are going to power the assembly line. So in one move, the cell transports the building materials and generates the power needed to actually use them. How efficient is that?
All right, the raw material, our acetyl-CoA, has made it to the factory floor. The power packs are charged and ready to go. Now the real fun begins. Let's see how a fatty acid actually gets built piece by piece. The very first stop, and arguably the most important machine on the whole floor, is an enzyme called Acetyl-CoA carboxylase, or ACC. This is the gatekeeper. Its job is to take our 2-carbon acetyl-CoA and convert it into a super high-energy 3-carbon molecule called Malonyl-CoA. This step right here is the point of no return. It's like stamping the material with a big, for fat synthesis only label. Once Malonyl-CoA is made, that's its destiny. There's no turning back.
Next, we get to the main event, the assembly line itself. It's a beast of an enzyme called fatty acid synthesis, or FAS for short. This thing is like a molecular Swiss Army knife and a high-tech robotic arm all rolled into one. A giant protein with all these different tool stations that work together in perfect harmony.
So what's the rhythm of the factory floor? It's a simple, elegant 4-step loop that just keeps repeating. First, a single primer molecule of acetyl-CoA gets loaded onto the starting block. Then, a 2-carbon piece from that high-energy Malonyl-CoA gets added on, making the chain longer. After that, the processing tools jump in, using those NADPH battery packs to chemically smooth out the new addition.
And then the whole thing just repeats, adding 2 more carbons again and again.
This little cycle of loading, adding, and processing runs a total of 7 times. We start with that initial 2-carbon primer, and we add 2 carbons 7 times over. So 2 plus 14. That gives us a final chain that is exactly 16 carbons long.
And this finished 16-carbon fatty acid that rolls off the end of the assembly line, it has a name. It's called Palmitate. This is the standard model, the factory default fatty acid. It's a fully saturated fat, and it's the main product that our cellular factory churns out. Now you might be thinking, this factory just runs 24/7 cranking out fat non-stop. But no way. It's actually under incredibly tight management. You can think of hormones as the factory supervisors, constantly checking the body's energy levels and telling the factory when to fire up the machines and when to shut everything down. You've got 2 main supervisors with completely opposite jobs. After you eat a meal, your pancreas releases insulin. Think of insulin as the build mode supervisor. He walks onto the factory floor and yells, "All right, people, the delivery trucks just dropped him out in a mountain of raw materials. It's time to store, store, store." He switches the whole factory on. But when you're fasting, your pancreas releases glucagon. This is the save mode supervisor. He comes in and says, "Whoa, hold on, resources are low, shut it all down, we need to conserve energy." He flips the factory switch to off.
And there's also quality control happening right on the factory floor. If the raw material, citrate, starts to pile up at the beginning of the line, it basically puts a foot on the accelerator, telling the factory to speed up. But if the finished products, the fatty acids, start piling up at the end of the line, they hit the brakes. It's a beautiful, simple feedback loop. And to top it all off, you have a master regulator that can actually sense high sugar levels and order the construction of more factory machinery to boost capacity.
Okay, so our factory has pumped out its standard product, the 16-carbon palmitate. But your body's way more sophisticated than that. It needs all sorts of different fats for different jobs. So the process doesn't end here. Palmitate gets sent off to a different workshop for some custom upgrades.
This customization happens in another part of the cell. You can think of it as the upgrades department. And there are 2 main modifications that can happen. First is elongation, where other enzymes come in and add even more 2-carbon units to make the fatty acid chains longer. The second is desaturation. This is where enzymes add double bonds into the chain, which literally creates bends or kinks. This is super important because adding those bends is how your body creates things like monounsaturated fats.
But here's the thing, and it's a huge deal. Our internal factory has its limits. The machinery that adds those bends, the desaturase enzymes, can only do so up to a certain point on the carbon chain. It physically can't reach any further down the line. And because of that one limitation, there are critical types of polyunsaturated fats, like the famous omega-3s and omega-6s, that our bodies simply cannot build from scratch. So, as we wrap up our tour, what are the big takeaways? Well, we've seen that our body is this incredibly efficient energy-storing machine, running a tightly controlled factory to build fat from tiny 2-carbon units. We've met the factory managers, insulin and glucagon, who make the call on when to open and close. And crucially, we've learned that because our own factory has its manufacturing limits, we absolutely must get certain essential fats from the food we eat. You know, ultimately, this whole complex, amazing process we've just walked through, it really boils down to this one elegant idea, taking tiny building blocks and methodically piecing them together on this incredible enzyme assembly line called fatty acid synthase. When you look at it this way, it's really not something to be afraid of. It's a marvel of biological engineering, a testament to efficiency. And that brings us to the final and maybe most important question of all. Knowing how this intricate and intelligent factory actually works, how can we make choices to work with our own biology for better health? Thanks for taking the tour with me.